Kaul joins in too to talk about this. Kapil, we've been talking about this impending deal for a while, and now it has finally come through. Your initial thoughts?
On expected lines, it was always a done deal for us. Just a matter of regulatory and procedural issues which have got sorted out. The key part of the deal was the bilaterals, which have been approved yesterday, and there's a 41,000 seats, very, very big jump in terms of bilateral for just one single carrier. And that's a key part of the valuation. Once that was done, the deal in terms of valuation, in terms of the other sort of agreements between these two companies was already agreed on. Once the bilaterals were approved, I think a formality of announcement was done today. So on expected lines, valuation on expected lines, a big opportunity for Etihad. I keep saying that it's a bigger opportunity for Etihad than Jet Airways, because Jet is an outstanding opportunity. It had some deeper issues for the last 5-6 years because of the nature of competition, but it continues to be a very outstanding company. About 100+ fleet, infrastructure, people, competence, technology-driven company. And operating in a marketplace which is going to be, as an economy growing at 7-8%, perhaps 9% for 2 to 3 decades. So it's an outstanding opportunity for an airline which doesn't have a home market. It is going to be always depending upon a feed. With this acquisition, India becomes their home market. And that's unbelievable for an airline like Etihad, given the fact that they have a huge expansion plans going forward. So I would think a big deal for Etihad. They will also get a big boost to their maintenance facility. Jet has 100+ planes, so you would expect them to start maintaining them at the Abu Dhabi facility. And you would see them supporting training and acquisition, training and other needs as well. So overall, I would think a big deal for Etihad, though it might seem that Jet has got money. But overall, more positive for Etihad than Jet Airways.
For Jet Airways particularly, what kind of deleveraging on its balance sheet are you expecting to see now that Etihad has come on board?
Well, I think if it is below 24% deal, and it will be a combination of preferentials as well as promoter selling stakes. So whatever money comes through preferential would need to come to the company. I don't know what the promoter is going to do with this investment, but I would think that 330 million, around 2,000 crores, will significantly help in deleveraging their business. And I think depends upon what they do with the money, but it will significantly help in deleveraging their debt.
Okay. What about the the market share dynamics? I mean, in the entire aviation market now that a foreign player has come on board.
Well, more implications on the international part, because if you see the kind of bilateral that Jet Airways has asked, it's about 41,000 seats from Jet Airways itself, and it's a connection from 23 cities to Abu Dhabi. So it has a deep, larger implications on the international scene as such. I don't see so much in the initial stages on the domestic part, but they would need to protect their domestic turf. You might see some more clarity on their low-cost business. They might see more clarity on their domestic business. But this is a largely an international play, because Etihad is never does any investment if it doesn't support their long-haul fleet, if it doesn't support their hub for transcontinental travel. So they would be interested in international more. The domestic feed, which will support their international feed, is critical. But purely domestic, I would think the focus would be more on international, though you would see some play on the domestic as well.
Okay. Just wanted your thoughts on the bilateral rights. I mean, we were speaking with Saroj Datta a while back, and he mentioned that, to strike a deal on an assurance of enhanced bilateral rights is not a good idea. What is your view on what has come through with respect to the government helping them close this deal with the bilateral rights?
For bilateral are national assets. It needs to be given afterthought, consultation. It must be aligned to national interests. It must be aligned to India's interest. It must be aligned to trade, tourism, for example, investments, any strategic issues like oil and gas, some benefits to the Indian aviation as well. It must be well thought through. Unfortunately, 3 months back, there was an announcement that we are not going to give any bilaterals to any Middle East carrier. Certainly 3 months later, we give one airline, that to an Indian carrier, 41,000 seats. And that becomes the vital part of the entire deal that is that's finally getting approved. So I have always believed that we are treating our bilaterals without respect. And it's not about Jet-Ethiad deal, because Jet is entitled to ask for bilaterals, but the government will have to look at it from a larger national perspective. So we don't treat our bilaterals with respect, and I don't think we have a policy of how to allocate bilaterals in our national interest. We must open up. India is a country which is 2 trillion economy, will grow at 7-8%, and opening up of bilaterals is critical for the economy as such. But it must be done with thought. It must be done with a strategic purpose. It cannot be done in an ad hoc manner. And any proponents who say that we have to open up and it will give boost to trade and tourism is fine. But what happened to our FTAs? If you look at India's FTAs, even the Parliamentary Standing Committee says that if FTAs were done in a hurry, we don't. In fact, if you look at the European FTA, the government is saying that there is not much benefit to India in most of the FTAs. These are hurriedly done. I think bilaterals are more hurriedly done because there is no thought given. What will be the impact of bilaterals on your competition, industry structure, consumer, and the economy as a whole? So if you grant it without respect, it's unfortunate. But for this deal, this was critical, and once that got approved, then I think the valuation became aligned to their needs.
Just one final question before I let you run, Kapil. Because you've tracked this space so closely, how do you think the pricing will evolve now? Because now there's additional capacity with Etihad coming on board. Air Asia will be on board soon, and there's so much worry about a monopoly of a foreign player, perhaps aggressive pricing as well. How do you see all of that play out?
Well, the pricing is more strategic. I mean, I would think for a business, pricing becomes a very strategic tool. But it's more in play on the international side. Air Asia is yet to come. It's not even applied for a regulatory approval. It might get regulatory approvals, but it'll be a couple of years till they get a size and scale to make an impact. Obviously, on the domestic part, when they come, they will bring an ultra low cost model to the level they could. They will stimulate the market. That's their basic business model. But as long as the industry maintains a pricing discipline and continues to operate and rationalize their cost, I don't think this deal itself will make any significant impact, because I definitely see a larger play on the international side. I don't see so much in the domestic in the near term.
Do you see the financials of these companies getting re-rated over the course of, especially for Jet, post Etihad coming on board?
Yes, it surely have an upside, and I think it will completely re-rate the sector.
Okay, Kapil, thanks so much for stopping by and giving us those thoughts. That's the word coming in from Kapil Kaul as well, along with a whole host of other experts on the fine contours of this deal and how it is a big positive for Jet Airways. We have